Italian subplot did you use? Were you trying to beat Fede Alvarez's record from before?
Well, I'm going to have to give it to you in liters and you can translate it. So we used 6,500 liters of blood in this movie. And I do know that Evil Dead 2013, I think, used more, but every drop of blood we used in this movie was sticky, proper movie blood. Whereas I think in 2013, there was probably quite a bit of red water falling from the sky, which made up for a lot of that blood. But this movie was all proper, sticky, cooked in a kitchen movie blood. So yeah, no red water in this film.
So why did you take Evil Dead out of the cabin in the woods and not do just another story?
I felt like it was time to refresh the franchise. And I'm also a filmmaker in my own right with my own ideas in terms of the story that I wanted to tell. And I wanted to place it in a world that was more identifiable than a creepy cabin in the woods, because not everybody has ever been to a creepy cabin in the woods or to even a nice cabin in the woods. But from my perspective, I wanted to take it into the home, into a familiar space where the characters were surrounded by things they recognized, their home comforts and their life, and that would make it all the more terrifying to then pull the rug out from under them as their world falls apart when the possession takes over and things get worse.
Speaking about things you have at your place, sometimes I wonder where some of these horror ideas come from. Were you just making some pasta carbonara at home and thought like, yeah, I could really hurt someone with this? Or were you looking inside your place what you could use?
Yeah, it works both ways. Like sometimes you just get ideas. When you're developing something and you're trapping the bigger idea in your head, your brain and your mind, you're always searching for these little ideas and things that pop up. It's like your mind is open to them. But then sometimes you are looking for things, you know, and I wrote this film during the very first wave of COVID in 2020. So I was locked in my apartment with this invisible evil force outside our doors where nobody could go outside. So I was kind of spent a lot of time with the objects in my home, in my small apartment. So it kind of naturally all started to come together from the circumstances that I was in.
What's going on with a pregnant woman and mothers in action these days? Because after Avatar, James Cameron was jealous of A Quiet Place, but you've turned the idea all around.
Yeah, I quite like telling stories about domestic circumstance and about family. And I was drawn to the idea, I was looking for a metaphor, and I was drawn to the idea of a character who was at a crossroads in terms of whether they should become a mother or maybe they should continue on the road, continue their life in a different way. And then I wanted to reflect that against what the future could hold in terms of, you know, a mother that's already established and has her family, and then what that looks like when it falls apart. Because we see both sides. We see a family on a Friday evening living their lives in their home, doing their thing. But then we also see what happens when that gets turned dark and gets turned into a place that nobody would really want to be. But there's hope in the movie because at the same time, Beth as a character still has the option and opportunity to be that mother and to be that leader later on as she battles the evil forces.
Mamá. Mamá está ahora con los gusanos.